Welcome, Gunrunner.
Hey everybody, Kieran aka The Laird here, and I'm back with a magazine retrospective for you. I did promise I was going to do more of these, and so here we are with another one. And as you can see, it's Games X magazine, and I was briefly helped to introduce them by my kitten there, who decided to shoot across the camera just as I started filming. So thank you for that, Daisy. She's now killing one of her little foam balls right next to me. So don't be surprised to see her again. So yes, Games X magazine. This is one that I've actually wanted to get hold of for a while. So when I went to an event at the Retro Computer Museum recently, I was really pleased to see they had a load of these in the piles of magazines that they were selling, where they had extras of loads of them. So I was really pleased to see it there, and I couldn't resist picking some up because I was so pleased to see it. And yeah, this is what I grabbed. It's only 4 issues, so I do want to try and get some more. It is something that I'd like to get more of because I have a very fond memory of this magazine from back in the day. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that. I mean, that's because myself and my next door neighbour, around this time that this magazine was around, it was published in 1991 and 1992. I believe it ran for 48 issues before it was cancelled, so quite a few. But what made it different to every other magazine out there was it was weekly, as you can see up here. It says every Thursday. It was also a lot smaller, hence why it was only 70p. It was like more like a comic in its size. Obviously, comics were a weekly thing, so it was trying to be like almost like a computer games comic in a way. And yeah, and it covered all the major formats. And as I was saying, my next door neighbour and I, we always used to go down the newsagents together to buy the magazines because we both had an Atari Lynx and we both had an Atari ST. Which was pretty cool because obviously we could play link-up games, no Lynxes, swap games, copy games off each other on the ST, all of that shenanigans that you did back then. So yeah, we because we had the same systems that we were using, it was great, and we had these kind of agreements in place that we would buy certain magazines, which was quite funny as well. So for example, I would always buy ST Format, and he would always buy ST Action. And then obviously we'd copy the cover discs off each other if there was stuff on them we wanted. And one of the magazines that he always used to pick up was Games X. I used to grab Game Zone. That was one that I grabbed every single month because that had good links coverage in it. And he would always grab Games X, which is a weekly one. So I'd always go down. We'd always ride our bikes down to the local newsagents, and he would grab this, and then we would both go back and read it. So that's my big memory of Games X magazine. And we'll have a look through them. So I'm not sure what issues I've got here. So 16, 17, they're consecutive then. 18 and 15. Yeah, so actually these are all consecutive. They should be in that order, shouldn't they? I didn't actually notice that when I grabbed them. They were all consecutive. So that's actually pretty cool. And it seems that they belong to someone called Hackett, who obviously had them delivered or kept at his local newsagents, because obviously back then they would always just write the surname of the person they were being delivered to on them. Yes, they've all got Hackett's name on them. So if you're out there, Hackett, and you remember having Games X delivered, or maybe you even donated these to the Retro Computer Museum in Leicester, give me a shout. So let's have a look at this one first. Issue 15, Pogo Go Go. It's Nebulous 2 on the cover. Nebulous 1 was hugely popular, so it's no surprise to see them do a sequel. But I do remember that Nebulous 2 was meant to come out on the ST and never did, which was quite strange because it was previewed for the ST and we never saw it. Very strange indeed. So it starts off like any magazine would, with previews of stuff that's coming out. We've got a Gallup chart. So at the top then was Manchester United Europe. So this is just computer games, I believe, in this chart. I don't think there's any console stuff in there. I could be wrong though, actually, because I've just noted PJ Tour Golf, which was a console game. So yeah, maybe it is a mix of both then. but it seems to mostly be computer stuff there, looking at it. But there we go. Adverts, competitions, all the usual stuff. So they would quite often have small reviews like this. So we've got 8-bit extravaganza. So that is mainly covering the newer stuff, the 16-bit stuff on the consoles. They didn't ignore the 8-bits. They would give them these little small reviews, often for budget games. So obviously they're Quattro Racers, Quattro Coin Ops, and Sector Hecti. So stuff from Codemasters and High Tech. Good old Special Reserve advert. It's the thing they always had, Street Talk, where they'd go to a local shop. And then they'd speak to some of the customers in the shop about, what systems they had and what games they were looking for. I always thought this was pretty cool, and I always hoped that they go to one of the shops near me, but they never did, sadly. So there we go. And there's a review of Nebulous, and they really liked it, and they would give X ratings. So this they gave 5 X's, which is obviously their best score that they would give. See, and what I was saying about ST is it even says there Amiga and an ST, but the ST version never came out. Very strange. And this is a strange thing that this magazine did as well. They would put them some side on like this. You can see Spot there for the Amiga, I believe. Amiga ST PC64 and Malpiti Island. So there we go. They put some of these reviews side on, which is kind of strange. Booty, Armour Alley. Armour Alley's a PC game, and it's a quite bad PC game, but that's the thing, so they only gave it 2 X's, and to be fair, it looks rubbish. So there we go, Battle Chest 2. Then there's some more small reviews for other stuff that's out around that time that they don't think is as exciting. I mean, the fact that they could do a weekly magazine just shows, how many games were being released every month at that time, that there was more than enough to cover in a weekly magazine. To be honest, I'm quite surprised that no one did a weekly magazine sooner than this. But apparently this magazine wasn't very successful at all for Europress, and it lost a lot of money apparently before they decided to cancel it. So that's a bit of a shame really, because I always thought it was pretty cool, and I did like that they called their tips and cheats section Tipex. I thought that was very, very clever, yes. My kitten's still making lots of noise behind me, so I'm hoping the camera isn't picking too much of it up. I should have shut her out the room, but the litter box and stuff is in here, and where I'm filming, and she needs that because she's only a kitten, and she's going to the toilet quite a lot at the moment because she's eating a lot. There's the Gallup charts again. So we've got it split down this time into every format there, all the major formats at the time. So quite surprising though to see Nintendo there as the only console one, because obviously Nintendo wasn't very popular at all. So it looks like but then it credits that. It says US NES chart compiled by Mike Riley Sendai Publications. So that's a bit strange to include a US chart with games that would probably never even come out in the UK, given the poor support for the NES. There's more 8-bit stuff as well. Some more stuff for the Spectrum, like Switchblade, which the Spectrum version is excellent. Some stuff on arcade games, as you'd probably expect. Good old letters page with Dr. X. Console connections. So this is where they go into consoles. So Sega, Nintendo, Lynx, Game Boy, Famicom, Game Gear, PC Engine. So there's Street Smart on the Mega Drive, which is a really crap fighting game. They gave it 3 stars, probably a bit generous. And Super R-Type on the SNES, which we know is good. Magical Guy Game Gear, Marvel Land Game Gear. No links in this one, sadly. Preview for Utopia. Sneak preview Birds of Prey. And then Exit, which is like more letters. I think Dr. X is a help page, and this is the general letters page, if I remember rightly. And then obviously a little thing about what they're going to have in it next week, which is quite cool. And an advert on the back. So let's see what we've got in issue 16 then. So we've got on the cover, we've got Rolling Ronnie. Don't remember that game at all. So here's our usual news and stuff at the front. All pretty cool. Mega Twins, there's the big top 20 chart. It's strange they did that, and then charts again later on. I don't know why they don't just put them all together. And someone entered the competition there, Hack It, because look, he cut the thing out. Cool. Wonder if he won. I doubt he did. Advert for ST Action magazine, which I was mentioning earlier, because Europress published that as well. So here's some 8-bit reviews, Spike in Transylvania and stuff, Batman the movie, good old Special Reserve advert, win an Indie Heat arcade machine. Always remember these with the phone numbers that cost like £1,000,000. Yeah, 45p a minute. Yeah, not cheap back then at all. The Street Talk, where were they this one? They were in Slough. And that guy discusses that they still sell games to older systems such as the VIC-20, Commodore 64, Oric, MSX, Dragon 32, Atari 2600 and Atari XEs. That's pretty cool. Yeah, sounds like a good shop. Rolling Ronnie. Which, did they like it though after putting it on the cover? They did. They gave it 5 stars. Wow. And I don't even remember that game really at all. Armalite The Final Run. That was like a 16-bit version of the Commodore 64 Classic, but not quite as good. They gave it 3.5 stars. Might and Magic, Blade Warrior, Dynamite Duke. So they've actually started putting some console reviews in the main section here. You noticed in the last one it was literally a separate console section. So interviews, Budget Bonanza and Tipex. Got Budget Bonanza there. You got supercars on budget, great stuff. Player's Guide there. And as for Acne, I do remember that comic very well, and I bought quite a few of them. A bit like Oink and all those other kind of comics that came out around that time. And there's your Gallup chart. No NES in this issue. It's gone. We've got IBM PC. I did think that was strange in the last one. Some more 8-bit reviews. So Stack Up, Shadow Dancer, Untouchables, which is really good. Arcade Extravaganza. So there we've got DD Crew. Time Traveller, the Sega holographic games. That's pretty cool to see. I remember the first time I saw that and I was, wow, blown away by it. Dr. X. So console connections, what we've got: PC Kid 2, Final Soldier PC Engine. There's some Link stuff. So Stun Runner up there, they're talking about, and Awesome Golf. And Viking Child, so talking about some new Lynx games there. That's always good to see. We have Pac-Mania on the Master System and Blockout on the Lynx, which they gave 4 stars. Pretty fair. It's a good puzzle game. My only problem with that is it really could have done with some music. It's a bit strange it doesn't have any music during the game. And sneak preview Starlight Voyage. And letters page and advert on the back. And what we got now. So 15th to the 21st of August 1991, issue 17. Sneak previewed Gunship 2000. So flight sim. Seems quite like their flight sims in Games X. They seem to be quite positive about them. So Street Talk's right near the front this time. Winston Quavers and a Game Boy. Awesome. 8-bit Extravaganza. Renegade 3. Which they gave 3.5. My God. Shinobi. Bubble Bobbles. There's some good stuff there. Re-released. Obligatory Special Reserve advert. The chart. Manchester United Europe still top. Did well with that then. X-rated Utopia. They really liked it. 4.5 stars. Bushbuck. The Executioner. Not familiar with these really. Core Designs Thunderhawk. Very good game. They gave it 4 stars. And Accolades Gunboat, which I think is quite crap, and so did they, because they gave it 2 stars. Saracon is some more Ace of Aces Master Systems. Again, it's weird the way some of the games they don't put into the console section. Let's see, Larry, Forgotten Worlds Master System, Navy Seals, Atari ST, Arcade Trivia Quiz ST. Storm's Troopers. So there's some stuff on Storm. And I've just noticed that they speak to my good friend Sean McClure in this interview. So I'm going to have to speak to him, because I bet he didn't know about this, or he hasn't got this advert. And I think he'd probably be very, very pleased. Not advert, interview. He'd probably be pleased to see that. So I'll have to send that along to him. Tipex, strategy guides. I missed something there. What have I missed? More strategy guide. There's a Gallup chart. Again, Robin Smith's cricket is top of the ST chart. So a lot of sports games doing well there. Hero Quest seems to be doing well across all the charts as well. Shinobi top of the budget chart. Arcade Extravaganza, Dr. Mario, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, to Turtles in Time. Mercs for the Spectrum, which is actually a really good port. It's really nice and colourful. And they liked it too, so they gave it 4.5 stars. Pro Mountain Bike, Paris to Dakar. Dr. X. And his console stuff, so after Benetton the Mega Drive, they gave it 3.5 stars. I think that's a pretty poor conversion. And some horrible, why they put yellow text on a white background like that you can't read, I'm not sure. I'm guessing that they messed up the print there, because that's supposed to be Stormlord on the Mega Drive, and all the screenshots look gone as well, so I think the print got messed up there. And I can't even read what the other game is. That's supposed to be UN Squadron on the SNES. Fantasy Zone and the Game Gear, Super Dodgeball, Super Famicom, Deathbringer, yeah, preview, Gunship 2000 preview, and the letters page, and a nice advert for Ocean's Elf on the back. And let's have a look at the last one then of my little bundle of Games X magazines, and Last Ninja 3 on the cover. And they're all talking about having Final Fight. I remember this one really well because I remember seeing the review for Final Fight, and my friend Martin, who lived next door, got the Final Fight not long up, I think just after that. I think he bought it just after this review. It starts off actually talking about Lynx games, because I think there's a screenshot of Checkered Flag, which is pretty cool. They liked the Lynx a lot in this magazine. They were always very positive about it, which is one reason why I liked the magazine so much. But in all honesty, I just liked the magazine in anyway. I thought it was great having a weekly magazine for one, and two, it was always well written. I always liked the style of it. I thought it was really good. I quite often agreed with their reviews and stuff as well. He's in the story Two-Bin Cabal. They didn't like Two-Bin. I loved Two-Bin. 64 version. I have to say I haven't played the 64 version, so it might be crap. I'll have to try it now. Last Ninja 3, which they absolutely loved and gave 5 stars. I have to say the ST version I have played, which is really good, and it's got music by Mad Max, aka Jochin Hipple, and it is so good. Yes, so there we go. There's the Final Fight review, you see, and they gave it 5 stars. And obviously we loved it in the arcades. We played it loads down the fair when the fair came to town, but we were wondering how it would work, how well it would come off on the ST, but they absolutely loved it in here, so yeah, went and bought it, and it wasn't bad. Considering the hardware. They did a fairly decent job, I think. It gets a lot of hate actually, the 16-bit ports of Final Fight, but I think they did a pretty good job all in all. Charts, what's top of the ST chart? Midwinter 2, number 2 is Lemmings. That's pretty cool. Manchester United Europe still doing very well on just about everything. Arcade Extravaganza, what we got? We've got some Neo Geo stuff there. Pretty cool. Then 8-bit Extravaganza, there's Cabal on the Spectrum, and this is actually a lot of the same games as they reviewed for the Commodore 64. So they gave it 4.5 stars, and they liked Spectrum Two-Bin, which they gave 4 stars, and I loved Spectrum Two-Bin, so I agree with them there. So that's good. It might just be that the Commodore 64 one is a bit crap then. Where were they that week? Oh, they went to Thorpe Park. They're obviously speaking to people in the arcade. And in the console connections, we've got a review for Bare Knuckle, which is pretty cool, which obviously we all know is the Japanese Streets of Rage, but I'm absolutely shocked to see that they gave it 3 X's. My God, how was that not a 5X game? Fantasia on the Mega Drive, Going to Warrior Super Famicom, Yancha Maru on the Game Boy, whatever that is, Vapor Trail on the Mega Drive, so could shoot 'em up that, Rockman World on Game Boy, Dr. X, Sneaky Peek Myth, which is really good, Battle Isle, Exit, and we're done. And that's Games X magazine, a magazine that I loved. I had a lot of nostalgia for, so I'm really pleased that I finally picked some up. I have to say, I still think it's a great magazine. I've really enjoyed looking through these, and I've read them all cover to cover pretty much as well, so it's great to see them. And I would love to get some more of them. So that's something I will now be looking for, is some more Games X magazines. Though my wife isn't particularly pleased about my newfound love of collecting magazines, because we don't really have any space to put them. What I have done is I'm in the process of turning our garage into a man cave. So I have put a big set of bookshelves in there. So I am putting all my magazines on those shelves. So you can't moan too much because they're not in the house. But there we go. I hope you've enjoyed my look at the brilliant Games X magazine, a magazine, as I say, that I have a lot of nostalgia for. I still have some other great magazines to take a look at and do retrospectives of, so there'll be many more of these midweek reviews upcoming. But I thank you for watching, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye bye.